Welcome. Today I'm going to work on a tangle pattern, and that pattern is called All Stars by Tomas Padros. And let's get started. You can either use a Micron 01 or a PN. I'm using a PN today. And we're going to start by dividing our space up with some small little reference dots. So I'm going to make 5 dots across and 5 down. So for me, the easiest way to start would be to put one in the middle of each side of my tile, and then one in the corner, and then one dividing up that space. And now that I have that in place, I'm going to go back in and continue the dots here. Okay, so I have all my dots in place, and be careful, my hand did brush across mine and it smudged a little bit, but I am going to trust the process and know that it will wind up being okay in the end. Okay, so now that I have these little dot references, I'm going to turn these into lines. So what I mean by this is I'm going to draw a vertical line like so in my first one, and I'm going to then switch to horizontal, trying to keep these the same length. However, if they vary a little bit, don't overthink it. So I'm going to continue this across my entire tile. So I have all my lines in place, my vertical and horizontal. And now this is a really good guide. I'm going to make them into little rice shapes. So I'm going to curve the sides of each one, and then I'm going to fill it in. So I'll curve it on the top and the bottom and fill it in. So continue this on each one of these lines. So I have all my pieces filled in, and now we're going to start connecting some of them. So I'm going to start with the ones that are in a vertical direction, so these here. And I'm going to start and take off and make a curve from the top one to the diagonal right. And I'm going to do this on a diagonal, going all the way down. Like so. So I'll do that on my other verticals as well. Again, be careful of your hands not to smudge your ink. And then I'll do these. Okay, so now that I have those, I am going to do the same thing in the opposite direction. So starting here, I will go down and curve in the opposite direction. So I'm starting at a horizontal, crossing over my previous line and connecting to another horizontal. This one here I'm going to leave. I'm going to jump over here. And I have one more down here. These two end ones, for the moment, I'm just going to leave those. So from here, I can begin to go in and add some additional designs to it. So in the center of each of these X's that are being formed, I am going to go in, I missed a line. I'm going to go in, this kind of reminds me of when I do the tangle called floors. And I'm going to add this little kite shape, little diamond, and I'm going to fill that in. So I'll find each of these sections where 4 lines are meeting, add in this little diamond shape, and fill it in. So I have all my little diamond shapes in, and I'm going to go in now and start to add some detail in the center of these sections. So I'm going to go, I'll start with a full one so you can see. I'm going to go from here, can come up and curve a little bit. So it's not a completely straight line, it has more of a organic feel to it. And this is another full one, so I'm going to do these first. I find that sometimes it's easier because you need to think a little bit more about the ones that might be going off of your page. So this one here, I'll just end it about there. And just have a little line here and here. This will come down. I'll continue on the pieces. Just taking a little bit more time to think about the ones that you can't see the entire section. And right here. So I could leave this like this if I wanted to, and it looks quite lovely. Or I think what I'm going to do is go in now on these big shapes, and where I just add those lines and they intersect, again, add that little diamond shape and add some filling inside. So I'm going to go ahead and do this with each of these sections. Next thing I'm going to do is add a few auras. So again, I'll show you on a full one. I'm going to follow the curve of this section and add an aura. And I'm going to add a second one. So I'm going to do that in each one of these shapes, like so. So go in now at your own pace and add your own auras. So now I'm going to move to my shading, and I'm going to find the areas that are behind another area, and I'm going to take some graphite and run that along the area. And gently, don't scrub your paper. You're going to begin to tortillon that out. So that would be a spot, and this is going to really start to give the illusion of creating depth. I always recommend to my students when I'm teaching live Before they begin shading, try taking a picture of your tile before and after shading so you can really get the true effect of how different it is, how you create that depth, how it pops out for you. It's really a beautiful process. If you feel like you have to press down very hard with your tortillon, because you shouldn't have to, it should be a very nice light feather touch, then you probably need to go back in and add more pencil. So I'm going to go into all these behind pieces and add my graphite. So there you have it, there's my shading. I have some areas that my lines got a little bit off, but remember it's Zentangle, no mistakes. I could have very easily started this video over and created a new tile, but just trust the process and always just go with it. Don't stop every time you think you make a mistake. There is no mistakes with this. So I'm just going to add my chop down here, and I am going to sign and date the back of mine. And please feel free to follow me on Instagram at DannyGirlArt or on Facebook at DannyGirlArt CZT36. Hope you liked my video. Please take a look at some of my others, and I would love for you to subscribe to my channel. Enjoy.